There's a new study that finds a downturn in bias against stigmatized groups around the world.
University of Illinois psychology professor Benedict Curdy is the author of that study. He joins us now to talk about some of the more interesting findings. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for having me.
So this is a big group over a lot of geography over a long period of time. What stands out to you when looking at this type of bias?
I think the most important finding, which also is in line, by the way, with what we see in the United States over the time period that we look at in the study, which is 2009 to 2019, is the fact that sexuality bias, so bias against gay people, both what people tell you explicitly and what they show you more implicitly, has decreased really massively in size over this period in ways that we don't see with other social groups. And then, of course, the big question is why that might be the case for that group in particular and not for the others.
All right. So did your research look at why that may be? What are some of the reasons that they've given?
We didn't look into it in particular, but based on other work and sort of theory, you could speculate why that might be the case. The first thing about sexuality bias is that that's the only identity that we have in the study that's concealable. That is, it's something that you don't see immediately when you encounter a person. And so coming out as gay is a thing in a way that coming out as elderly or coming out as dark-skinned does not happen. And I'm sure you encounter this too over the past years of acquaintances, co-workers, friends coming out to you. And that creates the situation where if you have negativity toward the group, but positivity toward this person that you really love, you have to reconcile that somehow. And many people reconciled it by changing their views of the group and not of the individual. And to that, you can also add the huge institutional change that happened with the introduction of marriage equality, not only in the United States, but in many other countries in the world as well. And to that, I would add as a last sort of factor that must have been very important too, we're on the news right now, media representation of gay people changed really, really massively over the past 20, 25 years as well. So I think all of these factors coming together probably made a really big difference.
And how are we doing here in the U.S. compared to other parts of the world?
In the US, the change was actually even more precipitous and even more quick than in the rest of the world. And we are now at a stage where it's very close to neutrality for sexuality bias in particular, although there are other biases, skin tone, race, and age and body weight in particular are two biases that have been almost completely constant, both in the United States and the world over. And there you can ask, why is it that although there is possibility for change psychologically, that those have really been stagnant over time? Body weight and age bias in particular are two that have not shown any change over the past 25 years at all.
I want to ask you about one of the things that you said that was also interesting to you, and we have about 30 seconds left. You said that skin tone was a type of bias that you studied. So describe to me what you found in your research when it came to how dark someone's skin may be.
That's very interesting, too, because there is a big dissociation there between the United States. In the United States, skin tone bias has decreased over time, whereas all over the world, in the rest of the countries that we investigated, it actually increased in bias by 20%. Of course, we don't know exactly why, but our hypothesis is that it was the rhetoric around the sort of so-called refugee crisis that was happening in many European countries at the time, and the way people talked about these groups, both politicians and regular people, may have contributed to the worsening of this bias over time.
Interesting. Benedict Curdy from the University of Illinois, thank you. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.